What's up, YouTube people? It's your boy Patty McNinja, and a lot of people have speculated, myself included, about this potential scam game called The Day Before, and whether or not it was ever going to see the light of day, if they were even making a real game, so on and so forth. Well, they did prove all the haters wrong. They did release a game. It released on early access on December 7th, and to say that this had a bad release would be a huge understatement. And of course, since I'm making this particular video, I want to talk about its launch. So without further ado, let's rock. I feel like I'm in the worst Groundhog Day-esque timeline with this game. Every few weeks I have to make a video explaining the saga that is The Day Before. I've already made 2 videos outlining this game. However, I will run through it again very quickly so everyone watching this particular video is on the same page. So The Day Before dropped its first trailer in 2021. It promised this huge MMO set in the zombie apocalypse, and everyone lost their collective minds when that trailer dropped. It was at one point the most wishlisted game on Steam, and it feels like it's been downhill ever since then. It's been delayed a few times. It even had to change its game engine at one point, and it was delisted from Steam for almost a year due to what they called a trademark issue. It was originally set to release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X. However, it was actually only released on Steam Early Access. And that brings us to last Monday, 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4 days after The Day Before finally released on Steam Early Access. Fntastic, the studio behind the game, decided to announce that they were going to close up shop. They were throwing in the towel. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The studio released this statement on Twitter. Today we announced the closure of Fntastic Studio. Unfortunately, The Day Before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. We invested all of our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of The Day Before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note we didn't take any money from the public during the development of The Day Before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. At the moment, the future of The Day Before and Prop Night, their other game, is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. We are grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. And then, of course, they just list the games that they have made in the years that they made them. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised this went poorly. The writing has been on the wall pretty much the entire time outside of that first trailer. There's been signs that this was not going to go well. What did actually shock me is how quickly it went sour. I've been saying from day one when people were claiming this was a fake game, my point has always been, what is the point? What's the point of dropping all these trailers and trying to create this quote-unquote fake game? Eventually the scam would be up. The game would have to be released. You can't keep delaying the inevitable. There was really only 2 options. You were either going to deliver a halfway decent game and get enough support to scrape by, eventually building a fraction of what you originally promised, because it was pretty clear, at least from my perspective, that they were never going to give us the game that they originally promised. That's the best case scenario, is just kind of give us sort of the No Man's Sky blueprint, where they kind of give us a halfway decent game and get enough support to scrape by. Or what I thought was most likely was that Fntastic was going to release a crap game, which is exactly what happened. Nobody was going to buy it. The few that did were going to hate it and request a refund. Or at the very least, they were just going to stop playing it. And since there's so many great video games that get released, They were just going to move on to the next game and nobody was going to remember this game even existed. What I didn't expect was that they wouldn't even give the game that they'd been developing for years a full week. They gave it 4 days before they closed up shop. It was like they were speed running the life of a video game studio. How quickly they destroyed this company would make Elon blush. And of course, now that they've officially shut down the studio, we do have to have the conversation that we've had a couple of times with the day before. Hopefully this is the last time. Is it a scam game? And I've definitely moved closer to the yes column than I was earlier, but I still am kind of wishy-washy about it. And the reason I say that is because I don't think it was a scam in the traditional sense. At least when I think of the word scam, I think of somebody tricking you into giving them money for nothing. And we didn't get nothing. We got a video game. Technically, it was an absolute dog shit of a video game, but technically it was a video game. They promised a game and they gave us a game. The real issue, from my perspective, boils down to the false advertising. Fntastic advertised this game as this huge immersive MMO set in the zombie apocalypse. That's not the game that we got. And I know we got a crap game, but we didn't even get a crap version of the game that they promised. We got a shitty extraction shooter that literally had cut and paste assets from the Unreal Game Engine marketplace. We basically got a bare minimum version of the Division games. We already have those games. We have no use for the day before if you're just gonna make a shittier version of games that we already have. We wanted the game that you promised. So it's pretty clear to me that the plan always was, let's drop this trailer, get as much hype as physically possible, and then we're gonna sell that hype to investors. See, we got the most wish-listed game on Steam. People wanna buy this. Please give us money.
Money, please. Money, please.
Then they were gonna take said money and then actually build the game. Not that they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but I really hope Fntastic didn't start off being scammers, that they at least tried to make the game that they had originally promised. Maybe the hype just wasn't enough for the investors. Maybe being the most wishlisted game on Steam didn't quite get them the money that they thought they were gonna get. Or maybe it was just hard to make the game that they wanted to make. Maybe they realized really quickly that making this really giant MMO was just a little too much. Maybe they bit off a little too much than they could chew. I don't know, I'm just speculating, but either way, it's pretty clear that eventually, if they did start off trying to make the game that they had promised, they quickly shifted to making this cheap knockoff. Call me a sucker if you want, but I want to hope that they at least thought they could pull off the No Man's Sky, where yes, this is a cheap version of the game that they originally promised, but maybe they can get enough hype that people will play it, and eventually that will bring them in more money and they can continue building the game. That obviously didn't happen. That was never going to work based on the game that we got, but I still hold out hope that they didn't purposely become scammers, that they at least had a plan to continue working on the game. I thought, obviously, that they would give it more than 4 days. That's wild to me. They didn't even give it a full week before they pulled the plug. But it is a very shitty game, and I give them props for at least having the self-awareness and realizing very quickly that it wasn't gonna work. There is a slightly happy ending for the people that did buy and play this game on Steam Early Access. It was selling for $40 on Early Access. Fntastic has come out and said that they are working with Steam to give everyone a full refund regardless of playtime, so at least there's that. But as always, those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below, especially if you actually played the day before. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, as the kids say. Consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. That way you're notified every time I post another video. I post weekly gaming related content. So if you like that type of content, consider subscribing and dinging that bell. But until next video, take it easy. What's up, YouTube people? It's your boy Patty McNinja, and this is my boy Yoshi, aka Kitty Boy. And we were just talking, and we agree that since you made it this far in the video, you might as well subscribe. You wouldn't want to disappoint Kitty Boy, would you?